Welcome back to Just Enjoy. We are here with the Roamy, producer, DJ. Go ahead, tell the people who you are, what you do.
How's it going, guys? How's it going? Thank you. First and foremost, thank you for having me here, man.
Absolutely.
It was an honor. And yeah, I'm a music producer, DJ first. I started DJing about 15 years ago.
Awesome.
I'm currently 31. So actually maybe 16 years ago.
Nice.
Did a lot of house parties out here in the Inland Empire back in the day when we were doing, when I was in a party crew.
Okay.
We were trying to figure out how to cut some budgets because we were paying the DJ at the time $150 for the whole night.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, I got a laptop. Let's
Yeah.
just go down that route.
Mm-hmm.
So I started DJing at our own house parties, started getting a little bit better, started learning how to DJ. Because at first it was just playing these songs. Everybody was drunk at the time anyways. And from there, the all-age club started out in the Inland Empire, and they started, approaching us because we had a following of, people that were already coming to our parties. I started DJing those, and then little by little, I literally started, going from club to club, loving to do remixes because remixes were really cool back then, mashups, learned how to do a lot of mashups. And then I started Phaser Control Recording Studio because I knew how to produce, but my mixes were really bad.
Yeah.
So going out there really helped me out. And yeah, like I've been producing for about 8 years now. And then self-releasing and releasing on labels for at least 6 years now. So It's been a journey. But
Awesome.
yeah, man, it's been a good journey.
So prior to Phaser Control and your DJing, were you like involved in like any like, maybe like when you're in school, any like band programs, or did you do like piano music lessons? Like
I did do some music lessons, but that was before Phaser, just because I wanted to be a little bit more of like at least like the music theory aspects and all that.
Okay.
So I took a couple piano lessons, but I mean I'm not someone that's very proficient. A lot of the music that I do play, like I like to make sure that if I'm able to draw it in, that I'm able to at least play it.
Okay.
So then I'll start repeating, just so if whenever I do live shows, possibly down the road, I can play those melodies just because they're so I've practiced them for so long.
Yeah.
So I'm not someone that's calling myself like a pianist or a keyboard.
Yeah.
Instrument wise, like I'm more of the tech, and the tech savvy in that sense.
For sure. Awesome. Yeah. So you and I went through the same school program, I believe.
Yeah, I'm starting to look at that right now. Yeah. I started seeing it. I was like, I have that too.
I know. I think I met you, I think in 2019. It was like real brief. I think you were walking out or something. Was Nigel your mentor, or was Patrick?
It was Patrick.
Just Patrick. Okay.
Nigel just finished the programming at that time, probably like a year, and he was just now starting to take, and learn some of the people there. So I was like one of the first few that went under Nigel.
Yeah.
We did a couple of master classes with him too. He mastered a couple of my songs that I released.
Nice.
Real good guy.
Yeah.
From when I met him, from the how would I say it? The smaller Nigel to now the beefier Nigel.
He's training hard. Yeah.
Him and Patrick, man. Patrick's really been able to like polish off a lot of my songs. A lot of my earlier songs that I released were the quality is really just Nigel and Patrick. Because all like Party Don't Stop, that's Nigel and Patrick. Like they polished it off so well. The original one that I was presenting to them did not sound like the one that came out. I want to say probably like maybe 4 years ago when I really just kind of took over the full production, mastering, and mixing all my tracks. I do still reach out at times to Nigel for some of his masterings, just to also compare an A and B, and then like more or less kind of ask him some advice, like, hey man, what did you do to boost this, or what how did you make this sound a little bit clearer than the way I did, because sometimes my mixes come out pretty muddy.
I feel the same. It's funny because I'm still doing a lot of stuff with him. I feel like he's just a never-ending bank of knowledge, man. I'll book a session, I'll go down there, and he's like, hey, you shouldn't do that. You just do that. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna listen to you. So he definitely knows what's going on. So he's a really, really good guy to have around, and he's got his visions and goals too. So
and I like the different teaching styles, because Patrick is more of a feel type of guy.
Yeah.
Just because he's obviously a musician, so he's like, yo, you just feel it.
Yeah.
A lot of times he's told me, like, if you don't know what something does, just put it on there and just start listening with your ears. Okay, if I crank it up here, what does it do to this? What does it do? What does it do? And then that's where you kind of start, learning your DAW.
Yeah.
And then Nigel's more of the, by the book, like, see if you raise it by 6 dBs, this is what this does, and this does, and he'll run that down perfectly fine. So, I enjoyed my time at Phaser, and I still enjoy going down there whenever I'm finishing a song.
Yeah.
If I have any, I've recently, last year I went in there probably a couple of times just to record, because I had some artists that I needed to record for a couple songs.
I just saw that on your
we have I just signed over a song that I did with Alice. I don't know if you know Alice. She's one of the mix engineers right now that's working really close with Patrick.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I got her to sing she wrote the song. I showed her one of the song that I have. It's called The Space Between. And she wrote the lyrics out. Okay. We recorded it, mixed and mastered there, and then we actually got assigned to one of the Spanish labels called Blanco y Negro. Okay. So that should be coming out in March. So that'll be fun.
Right on.
Yeah, man.
So with your releases and your styles that you're doing, where do you pull inspiration from? Like where's your style now compared to when you first started 4 or 5 years ago with getting serious with production?
Yeah. I mean, back then I used to do a lot of big room. Big room,
Same,
obviously.
yeah.
Big room was obviously kind of like the focal genre at the time when I was going in, and I really loved it. I loved the stabs, right in your face, the 4 on the floor. Right now, I kind of try to go into a little bit of everything. I like a lot of the tech house. But for me, as long as it's under the house umbrella, I'm going to give it a try.
Yeah.
I have some future track houses that I'm working on with a couple producers. I have some tech house, some very, bass house tracks that I'm working on, just because I'm not trying to really get stuck in a genre, stay in your own lane. This is what you're known for. I'm kind of trying to put my hand in every little cookie jar and see and learn from that, because then when I do go back to my own production where it's just me by myself, I can kind of pull inspiration from the tech aspect, the future aspect, the bass aspect, and kind of maybe create something down the line. You never know. That's kind of what it is.
I think it's important to do that. Keep the I think it keeps things fresh. If you do too much of one thing for too long, then you start to you feel burnout, or so that's props to you for keeping that going. I think a lot more people need to start doing that, and then maybe, like you said, you could create something new that nobody's ever heard before.
Of course, and keep it simple too, because in the beginning too, a lot of my songs were really complex. Like I would spend months and months just going over it, adding ear candy, adding more little things that to me I can hear, but I know for a fact the average listener, the more and more shows that I do, I've played a lot of songs that are very simple, and people go crazy for them.
I know.
And I'm over there just like, I get it, but I'm like,
I know.
It hurts a little bit just because I know the time that I spent on some certain aspects, and then I'll play my songs from back then, and they'll feel it, but they feel a little bit more of the simplicity tracks that I have now. So
I think it's just the common ear. We like in jazz band, they would always tell dude, people don't know that you messed up. They don't know that just roll with it, and just if they're feeling it, they're feeling it. I mean, there's really nothing else other than that. So,
and there's been a lot of shows I messed up a lot of them. A lot of them. There's been times where the first one where I actually played a main stage out at Catch One in LA, all 3 of my USBs weren't registering at the time that I was going. The guy next to the one that went before me, he was like, look, man, I have a lot of music, just go off what you go off. I was going off of names and just BPMs. Oh, damn. And I was like, I hope this one is a banger. Let's go. And, luckily enough, it was good. The guy that booked me for that night, he's like, look, man, I've seen a lot of DJs come up and that's happened to them. And then they just kind of flop. They go, no, you take my hour, or someone else takes it because they don't know. And I told him, I was like, well, it's the DJ aspect, because back then we really didn't have that where we're like really setting up sets. It was more of like we downloaded all this song open formatting. Yeah, it was open format back then. We're playing hip hop. EDM really didn't hit till like 2009, 2010 in the mainstream clubs. Back then it was just really hip hop. The Bay Area really had a lot of effect down here in LA. So, you know, that's kind of what we were mixing back then.
Yeah.
You know, and then it became mashups, you know. You had your David Guettas and you had your Nicki Minaj's making their music, you know, so.
Yeah, definitely. So, touching on some of your shows you've been doing some pretty big stuff lately. It's super cool. What's kind of been your favorite experience so far coming, maybe end of last year coming to this one? Are there any particular shows that stood out more compared to?
Yeah. Well, in the beginning, obviously I was playing probably in front of a crowd of 5 to 10 people, like in in the beginning of January. My big show was on a Monday on October 31st, which was Halloween, and that was at Avalon. Okay. I played main stage there. I did a back-to-back with my boy named Patrick Holmes, and we packed out the whole. I mean, it was already a sold-out night by 8:30. Yeah, you know, it was already packed out. So, and because we got there for sound check, and at 8:30 I saw the whole place pack up. You know, by 11:30 we went on, and that's I have it on my thing. That's where the first time I ever experienced a huge confetti blasters going off in front of my face, in front of everybody.
Yeah, that was a cool video, by the way.
Yeah, great moment. Shout out to my fiance. She's the one that's been taking all my videos, actually.
Perfect.
You know?
Yeah, you got it. You got to have those support people.
It's funny because a lot of people are always like, "Yo, where is she?" I'm like, "She's the one that's taking all these videos."
Yeah, she's behind the camera.
Yeah, she's really behind. Because they also ask, "Hey, she doesn't get mad that because there's times where like there's girls and you know, stuff like that, and they're like, I'm like, no, she's literally right there with the camera.
She's chilling.
She's there. That one was really good. The afters at Lick and Dip.
Okay.
That one's really good.
Yeah, that one looked like it was.
Those ones are so much fun.
Man.
I didn't expect it. Obviously, it's really underground, so I didn't hear about them. Now that I'm a little bit more intact with them, I'm now hearing about a lot of the undergrounds that are coming around. Okay. So I'm trying to get into those right now because I feel that those underground ones are. Because they're really personal, like they feel it all, and usually they start at 11 and end at 5 in the morning. Cool, I went on from 2:30 to 3:30 last time, and I was like, I don't know if there's anybody gonna be there. You know, I've never been to an after party. So we get there. It's a huge warehouse. It's packed out from front to back. Wow. And then like the line's crazy long. Dang. And we leave at like almost 4 in the morning. There's still an hour left, and the line's still out the door. And so yeah, those Lick and Dip, and they're pretty crazy because they do Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Wow. Yeah. They're going in. Dang.
Yeah. But they have like a couple of different locations out there. They were telling me they're like just so we don't burn them out. Yeah. You know, so this week we're over here. Next week we're all the way on this side. This way and this side, and then we just rotate. Okay. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's good. Yeah. But yeah, the underground ones for sure. I thought those were like my last shows until PB Avenue hit me up. Yeah. And they're like, hey, you want a headline next week? Let's go. And I'm like, let's do it. Yeah. You know, that's when I reached out. Thank
you for that, by the way. I appreciate that.
And then I reached out to Bird, and I was like, let's do it.
Cool.
You know? So it's fun. I had a lot of fun.
So would you say there's any big difference between the LA scene of EDM and the San Diego? Or pretty similar, or they're like different kind of...
It just depends on what aspect. Like, for instance, the business side of the DJing, which a lot of people miss. The business side, San Diego's more professional than LA. Okay. LA is all about straight cash. Out here, when I deal with everybody out here, it's more professional when it's like W-2s, give me a check here and there. Over here, it's more of like what you sell on tickets is that's the money you're going to make. We're not paying you anything. You're basically going to pay. Their mentality is like, we'll give you 15 tickets, sell them for 20, give me 15, you keep 5. That's your pay. Gotcha. In a sense. Yeah. Anything else, bonuses, if we have a good night, then we'll give you, which at the end, you're not going to go and audit them, and they're not going to tell you, hey, we had a good night. Yeah. There you go. So as far as money-wise, San Diego's been the more profitable one than LA. Gotcha. But as far as like crowd-wise, LA gets a little bit more rowdier where I feel a lot freer than I do in San Diego. In San Diego, I don't know if you get the emails where they tell you stick to the format. Yeah, yep. Stick to the format. Stick to the format. I've had people come up and be like, not trying to say what kind of clubs, right? But they come up and like, hey, you're going too rowdy.
Yeah. Tone it back a little bit.
You got to bring it down. 124 BPM. Remember, that's what you agreed on.
Oh man.
I'm like, ooh, okay.
Damn. All right.
And even in some of the contracts, it says don't play towards the crowd.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you talking about?
I know.
What do you
Yeah.
And it's those side stages where they don't want them in the side stage. They want them in the main room.
Yeah.
And I get that, but it's like, if I can, have them dancing everywhere, wouldn't you want that?
Well, and then if everybody's happy and buying drinks,
exactly, inside and outside. But there's a lot of times where I've had a couple in San Diego, never in LA or Orange County, but a lot in San Diego where they go, hey, remember, stick to the genre.
Yeah.
Stick to the genre.
Wow.
Okay.
Interesting. Yeah, that's I noticed that because when you mentioned the line at 8:30, that rung a bell in my head because even with my band and musical other bands and stuff that I've played in, people do not go out early in San Diego. They're starting to come out at like 11 and like even Avenue last time opening, it was great. There was like 20 people. It was a vibe, it was hidden, but as soon as 11:30 hit, it was just mayhem. And I was like, whoa, man, I feel like that's just kind of the common theme amongst all the clubs. People are going out later where I feel like up there, they're kind of, it's like a prolonged event, it's like a marathon. They're like, let's see how long we could last up here. And
PB Avenue for sure. When I got there, I was like, all right, that's a nice crowd. And then when I got up, I was like, oh dang, it got packed. I'm like, all right, let's go.
Well, that first time they offered me to play there, it was during one of their contest nights, and I got the 12 to 1 a.m. spot.
Oh, same.
And right when I got in there, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the most people I've ever played to, so I was all freaking out, but now I'm like, I'm good now. I know what to do. So,
and it's always usually that first or second song that really gets in your nerves where it's like, I'm pretty nervous right now, but once you get those two out of the way, you're pretty much in the clear.
You're off and running.
That set was an hour and 45 minutes, and it was just like towards the end, I was like, yo, I don't know what else to play because I started getting tired. Because like I've done hour shows and I'll put all my energy and dancing. At that end of that night, I was drenched, soaking wet, and I was just like, man, I'm tired. I'm tired.
So that's another thing. That was like the first time I've seen you actually live, man. You got a great stage presence, man. You're going up when you're up there, man. It's just, where is it just like an energy thing? Is it like, are you just feeling it? Because I know a lot of people, they like to, hold themselves in. They don't want to show anything unless there's like a really big, but for me, I have to do, I committed to myself, really going hard for my brand Roamy and for myself. And I promised myself that doesn't matter if there's one person or if there's 1,000 in front of me. I'm going to put in that same energy just because like they paid to come see me or maybe not even me. They just paid to come in here, and whether they enjoy it or not, that's for them. But I at least know that I'm not just, cause I've gone to a lot of shows where I've seen like bigger headliner DJs and they have great music. They're just not performers, they're out there and they're just, which is cool and that's awesome. I'm not trying to hate on anything, but I know personally for myself, I want to go out there and I want to see a show. That's why, like, if you really pay attention to the Fishers, he's out there. People are trying to see him more than they're trying to see what the music or hear the music. And for me, if I can correspond the performance myself, with really dancing and, also obviously I practice a lot on my sets a lot just so I also know the songs, so I can sing it back with them, and they can also get that emotion. I've noticed a lot of the times when I do end up singing and, we end up like, I see a lot more people actually singing back with me, like it's okay for them to be
right. And it's kind of like a song too. You have your, you want to always have your calls and your responses, and it's the same thing. You want to give and they want to give back. So they get the energy from you. And I've always noticed, like in hip hop clubs, people are there just to dance. They don't really care about the DJ.
Definitely.
At EDM events, they're always really just looking at you. So why not put out that performance? So I'll do whatever I have to do. Even if it's not my own song, I'll play the air bongos up there, and then, go ham and just. I want to make sure that they at least remember the name Roamy, remember, at least say the face and be like, I remember that guy. Whether or not they enjoyed it, they at least remember me.
Well, and that's good. That'll take you far because, I feel like nowadays a lot of people are more focused on the production and they forget, oh, we might have to perform this one day, and you see it a lot in hip hop. I was talking about it with Riston, they're up there, they got their track playing, they're not even saying the lyrics, they're just holding the microphone to the crowd, and they're like, sing along, and they're like, well, we came here to see you know, like,
right.
Yeah, like, what are you gonna do, you know? So that's really good. So yeah, keep that up, man. I saw it, I'm like, man, I gotta step it up a little bit up there.
and that's good, because I also want to be out there inspiring others, you know, to do that, you know, to give that energy out, because I know for a fact if the more of us do that, the more people are wanting to come out to these shows, even if they're small or big, you know. So the more of us, you know, pushing that movement out there of, you know, giving that energy out, and not just being a regular DJ, just, you know, little hands up, but actually interacting with them, they'll be coming out, and hopefully at one point there would be enough clubs that are filled for all of us, not just a few, you know.
Definitely, yeah. So, building a good community. I think I struggle with that because, you know, DJing in front of people is kind of new to me. I've always played the saxophone, and I'm very eccentric, but it was just kind of getting out of that comfort zone aspect. But
you are this. Now I remember you from Phaser.
Yeah.
Saxophone
guy.
Got you. I was like, yes.
So I got all that performance down with that, but then, you know, coming to this, I'm like, oh man, this is different, you know. So I think, you know, with practice
it comes with it. For me, it was my friend. I DJ'd with a good buddy of mine that passed away a while ago, DJ Radier out here in Inland Empire, and he's the one that really took me out of my shell. I used to do promo videos because I did do a lot of my own clubs out here, my own all age clubs, my own 18 and over clubs that I produced, and I wasn't DJing some of them I did, but the majority of them were all my friends DJing and some performers that we got back in the day. But he's the one that really pushed me out of my shell, where I would get in front of a camera to perform, or to, you know, promote the event, and I would do like 10 takes. And when I did one with him so we could promote his brand, Gotham City, he's like, nah, just one and done, and if you keep going, you're not in the video. And everybody wanted to be in his videos at that time because they would really put a spotlight on you. So he's the one that, no, one and done, and that's it. And he would give out that energy. And he's the one that explained to me the same thing. Hey, these guys are paying for a show. You're a performer. You're an artist. You know, you're all at the end of the day, when you're up here, you're performing. You know, you're not just the DJ. You're the performer.
Exactly.
They want to see that. And he's the one that really kind of took me out of my shell. And it took me a real long time. And then coming back to Roamy, when I came about and did Roamy again, and when I first started playing my first couple of shows, you know, I was like, man, I feel it, but it was all right. And then I asked a lot of feedback, because I have my own friends and family that come out, like, how was it? The energy, and it was always that energy. So then I just really kind of, you know,
turned it
up, and that's kind of what I've been doing at every show ever since. You know, making sure that I'm out there singing with them, dancing with them, but at the same time being very conscious of the mixing, because so if I miss that up, then
accidentally hit a button wrong or something.
At PB Avenue, I focused a little bit too much, where I did like maybe 4 or 5 mess ups. I'm like,
really?
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
There was a couple of them where I was like, I mean, I saved one, but you know.
Yeah.
At that time, who cares?
Hopefully people, you know,
they won't remember those.
Yeah, they don't care. They're just like, I mean, unless you just hit stop and you're standing there like, oh God.
Yeah, unless you're David Guetta at Ultra from 2010, they're still playing you today.
Oh man. Exactly. So when it comes to your production and music, and I don't know how you do it, you pump out a lot of music. Do you have do you sit down at the beginning of a week and you schedule, or you get do you have a routine going, or
actually, so I work Monday through Fridays. I have a job that has provided me with an early enough schedule to still be able to produce my music. So I'll work from 4:30 to 1 in the morning or 1 in the afternoon. And then I have the rest of the day. So then after that, I'll hit the gym for an hour. At around 2 o'clock, I'll jump into the studio and I'll produce for 5 to 6 hours max.
Wow.
So around 7 or 8 is when I'll start coming out of my studio, because I have it there at my home too.
Yeah.
But usually, for instance, I'll jump around between 20 different projects. If I ever get really stuck on one, then I'll just
go right in the next.
Keep going on to the next. I rarely ever scrap them and say, I don't want these anymore.
Yeah.
And even if I think it's finished at that time, okay, it's finished, let me put it away. A lot of the tracks right now that I do have finished are mostly skeleton tracks. And then what I've learned is with those skeleton tracks, what I can do is I can market those out to other producers and be like, hey,
smart.
These are my work in progresses. Do you hear anything that you can add on to it? And a lot of them end up finishing the songs. You know, or hey, we have a singer that can jump on this and I'll finish the song. So a lot of my songs come out that way. So I figured that not necessarily do I have to finish a whole song anymore. Like if I get really stuck on a song, like if I am passionate about a certain song, which there are a couple that I'm just like, no, this one's mine. I'm gonna see it all the way through. But there are some where it's like, you know what, I can see that someone else on it. Let me have someone try to figure it out and see if they can finish it off. So yeah, that's how you hear a lot of different styles when it comes to that. But at the same time, like you also hear a lot of different music coming out, because right now I have, like I said, 20 projects working, but I also have like 10 other producers working on other projects.
Wow.
I have 8 vocalists working on other projects, so a total of like maybe 40 projects right now going on at one time.
Dang.
Some might not be done for another 2 to 3 months. Some might be done tomorrow. I get like random like little snippets, like, what do you think of this? Oh, I like that. Let's keep going.
Okay.
You know, and usually I don't give my input until the final with some of these, because I tell them, don't give me the snippet, give me the full, what you want, how you feel it, and then I'll give you my input on that, because I don't want to keep going back and forth with them. Oh no, I'll do this, do that. I want to hear what you want to bring to the table.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes they're hits, sometimes they're misses, you know, but at the same time, I also want to give a lot of the up and coming producers that chance, you know, to actually, you know, show me what they got. There's some producers out there that only have maybe 10 following, and they actually produce really, really well.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, really, really well. You know, their marketing presence isn't there because they focus everything on the production.
Yeah.
So that's why they only have 10 followers, but they know how to produce.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't see with my marketing and their production that we can't work something out on making a song together and then really, you know, elevating that song.
Gotcha.
So, you know, that's the way I see it when it comes to my production. But yeah, like as much as I can, you know, just new music, content. I have found with my content that I necessarily don't have to complete a whole song to show my content. I could show snippets of it, you know, like just the drum and the bass part.
Yep.
I have this song that I call Pac-Man that to me it's not even close to being done, but I showcased it, like, what do you guys think, should I finish it? And people were like, yo, that thing's a banger already.
Like
a banger already.
Like,
so I was like, all right. When I played the Lick and Dip one, I'm like, let me play it out. So I played it at Lick and Dip. I even played it at BP Avenue towards the end, and then everybody's like, yo, that's a sick ass song. And
really?
I'm like,
wow.
yo, this song isn't even close in my eyes to be even close to done. It has no vocal. It's just a quick little vocal shot, and then goes straight into a quick little like tech bang, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So, but everybody's just like, and I'm over here like, oh man.
Yeah, you're like, oh no, not yet, not yet.
No, yeah. So that's how it comes out. But yeah, man, that's how I've been working with my music. I try to get as many producers as I can, but at the same time, I also need to make sure that I take my own personal time sometimes, because I get too focused in all the music and marketing. Because right now, I mean, I do have my people around me, but as far as anything else goes, I'm kind of like a one-man team.
Yeah.
You know, all my editing comes through me. All the videos comes through me.
Yeah.
Any marketing post comes through me. Any booking stuff's come through me.
Yeah.
Basically everything's come through me so far.
Yeah.
I think the team really just comes together when we are about to leave.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Sometimes, just right now, just because it's like, you know, there's not really much I have for them to do, because you know, it's not like I'm doing big old tours where I need people right now, and I am gonna need them. I just, you know.
For sure.
Just in the right time right now, you know?
Yeah. I've felt that the last 6 months, when I finally started kind of like, okay, I'm going to do this thing, you know, I felt the same way, where you're just so overwhelmed doing, you know, engineer, editor, mixer, producer, master, you know, booker. I mean, I've just, you know, so I'm thankful to have, you know, guys like this to, you know, really help with that. And it's definitely alleviated the pressure. But touching on what you said about your like working with producers with a smaller following, do you have any tips or anything that maybe those people could, like, you know, start getting their stuff out there, maybe getting more audience on there, because you've been killing it with the social media lately? So
yeah, just post consistently. I mean, at the beginning they're not gonna watch, and then at the end they're gonna have to. Yeah. As long as you keep putting and flooding your content out there, I mean, the algorithm at one point is going to catch up, and it's going to show up on someone's explore page. Yeah. You know, the only reason why I'm able to push so much content out there is because of how fast I can do it, because of how long I've been doing it for. Yeah. You know, like it's the practice. You know, people are like, oh, you push out but it took me 15 years to really master all this.
Feel that,
to be able to push it on a consistent basis, and then to learn, like, I don't need a minute video. I can do a 15-second video. Yeah. And now that I'm getting monetized for my reels, it motivates me more because you know it's hard to be motivated when there's nothing coming in. But now that there is something coming in, it now motivates you more because it's like now you see the
rewarded.
snowball. Yeah, now you see the snowball effect getting bigger.
Gotcha.
You know, and I think my biggest thing for anybody would be like in the beginning, you're not going to see anything, and if you're okay with that, then keep going. Because like a lot of people aren't okay with that. They're like, "Yo, what do you mean I have to wait 5 years to see it?"
They want instant.
Yeah, they want an instant. It's like no, it could be longer. But at the same time, there are people out there, one song and done, and then they're right there. You know, it's always, it could be, you know, luck, or it could be also, you know, skilled and also acquired years of skills going down the line.
Definitely.
So, but as far as if anybody says like, "Oh, I don't know how to play the piano, I'm not musically talented," you can learn these stuff. And if you really are devoted and consistent, you'll make it. You'll be fine. Yeah. You will be fine.
Well, there's no excuse anymore. We got the internet to just show you what to do with anything. I mean, it's crazy. I'm still getting questions answered just doing a quick search. I'm like, oh, okay, that's how you...
Right.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's so crazy to me. But, you know, I think that is a big difference when it comes to people that started, you know, over 10 years ago compared to people starting now. I feel like people are so used to kind of getting like instant gratification. You know, they're just scrolling all day and they're all just like, oh, I just want this now. And they don't realize that, you know, this does take a long time. I mean, I'm just now barely seeing a hint of like something, you know, and I'm like, okay, I might have something here, you know, keep going. And
same thing with me. I feel like I'm barely even like scratching the surface.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I have other people telling me, "No, man, you're there," and I'm just like, "No, I'm not even close to being where I feel like I need to be." And that's the hard part because like what you show, it's like, yo, they like the people also still keep having not to understand but to be reminded, because I think they understand that what we show are just the highlights.
Oh yeah,
you know, like if we were to show you guys our downfalls, you probably wouldn't watch.
Oh yeah,
you know,
you
you wouldn't see like you all we're really doing is just okay, they're doing this for like what hours and hours and hours,
picking,
you know,
sounds.
you only see a 15-second of that, you know, of what I've already finished, you know.
Definitely.
So as long as you remember that, and also don't compare yourself. Like to me, that was like the first very step was like comparing. But at the same time, like I also saw the consistency in a lot of artists that I ran into in my days. Like I ran into two major artists right now that are generally both Grammy winners, one in Latin and one in I don't know what US Grammy. DJ Mustard and Deorro.
Oh, okay.
I ran into them and I worked with them in the early stages of their career. Yeah. And all I saw from both of them was just consistency.
Yeah.
Consistency. I met Deorro. Me and him actually played a show out here in Marietta, believe it or not.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, back in 2011, we played a show at they emptied out like a gymnasium down here, and they did a whole EDM glow in the dark show. And he was the headliner, and I opened up for him. Cool. And when we talked there, I just told him, I'm like, man, what have you been doing? He's like, oh, every day, consistently, consistent, every day. And same thing when I met Mustard up there in LA. He was like, when I met up to him, he's like, or actually he came up to me. He's like, hey man, you're Frankie from Roamy, because I was actually still going by Roamy back then. From the Inland Empire. I'm like, yeah, and he still wasn't popping at that time. And he goes, hey man, you know, can you get us some jobs out there? Me and my cousin. And I was like, your cousin? He's like, yeah, me and my cousin, we have this song that I produced. It's about to come out, you know. And I'm like, okay. And we were in the club, so it was really loud. And I just heard cousin, song, and I'm like, all right. I'm like, yeah, what's your name? He's like, Mustard. I'm like, Mustard. I'm like, all right, put it on my phone. And then I left it. And unfortunately, back then, DJing was a lot about sex appeal, which wasn't fair. Because it was a weird thing back then. And DJ Mustard wasn't so appealing back there as he is now. Not to talk shit. And so a month later, Tootin' and Booted come out, and I'm like, oh dang, there he is. And obviously he started just going up from there. So actually seeing it into play from those two guys, like, and me actually talking to them, were in what I call my area, my phase. The consistency with their work is what really elevated them, and that's kind of something that I'm really taking into myself and making sure that I'm consistent every single day. That if I'm on social media, like if I'm on Instagram, I'm not over there looking and just scrolling. I'm there actually like engaging.
I've been feeling,
I'm liking pictures, I'm commenting, I'm doing all this, because at the end of the day, the monetization, you don't have to like or comment on any of my stuff for me to monetize. You just have to view it.
Oh, wow.
So if I'm over there liking a bunch of pictures, and you're like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah.
And you're like, you just watch one video, that's money in my pocket already at that point. So my thing is trying to flood as much as I can. So,
gotcha.
And if an hour on TikTok, hour on Twitter, hour on, or 30 minutes on Instagram, because it's really hard. It gets addicting.
Yeah.
Just go, you can get stuck just scrolling on a bunch of random stuff. And that to me was my hardest thing at the beginning of when you're jumping into marketing yourself in the social media world, because you can get stuck for hours. It should have only took you about 15 minutes just to post and done, and keep going.
I was just having that talk with him yesterday. Actually, I'm like, dude, I got to like just post, engage, get off the app, because I will literally sit there midnight, in bed and I look at the time, I was like, man, it's 1:30. What am I doing with myself?
But if you're hard on it, are you doing anything that's going to better your artist?
Exactly. Yeah.
Are you in there following people? Are you in there trying to engage with the club owners or other DJs? Like if you're doing stuff like that at 12, then okay, cool, be on that. But if you're just there just looking at
messing around,
just look, oh, that's a cool DJ transition. Okay, but did you reach out to him and be like, yo, sick, dude? Because sometimes even a comment like that, just to put yourself in, even to put yourself in front of the big names, like they'll see that, or even the smaller names will see that. Well, they'll see your name and be like, hey, I see his name popping up on the Hardwells all the time, on so-and-so, on Tiestos, on this. Or if you go lower on the Say My Names, or on the smaller tiers, the Nico and Sways. So little ones like that. Yeah. It always helps out, especially if they respond back. It gives you that attention on your post of a blue check. The unfortunate is that we live by blue checks. Yeah. That's the thing that sucks. But when people are about to comment and they see already on your post there's 2 or 3 blue checks, even if they're the quick little comments, it's like, yo, he got an attention from some blue check guys. Now a lot of them don't do their homework, because some of them, if you actually click on the blue checks, they might only have 17,000. They might only have 30,000. Some of them, maybe a couple hundred. But that's what I mean. Like people see a lot of stuff and they don't really. They just see the quick and hey, nice. Let me engage with this guy because he's about to get some engagement from. Like a lot of people will try to catch waves. And that's one of the things that I've noticed is like you're trying to promote yourself, but at the same time, a lot of people's little helps, even when they don't know they're helping, they are, that's how they are, that's kind of how what I've been trying to do is like making sure that I hit some pretty big accounts with some blue check marks, but actually sifting through them and make sure that they're relevant to what I'm doing. But at the same time, keep it at a state, because I am at like 30K right now. So it is relevant for some of these 50 to 60 that have blue checks to kind of look at me. And some of them have been reaching out, like, Chapter and Verse. Those guys, I played one of their songs live, right? And one of the DJs that I played, like, hey, they tagged them, and from that they hit me up and they're like, hey, sick, can you play some of these? Because they saw it was a huge crowd. Wow. Like, can you play some of these? And then we started talking, and now there's a collab on the way. Oh, okay. So, and that's Sweet. So that's how things work like that. It's pretty cool.
That's smart.
It's pretty cool.
Cool. So, it's funny. I never really knew we lived up in the same area up here in the valley. Do you think there's any potential for, like, maybe a scene kind of popping up in this area again? Or you think it's kind of like San Diego, LA is just solid and there's really not much,
Like in the Maria, like in the
just
valley
like
area,
the valley in general, Like I know, there's festivals out in San Bernardino and stuff.
I mean, I think the closest that they've been able to get was at Paris, right? Like the Paris festival that they've been doing, the same but different or something.
I played that in 2021, I think.
Oh, was
that? Yeah, it
was that the where they got Grill or Grizz? Something
they Grizz? Had Big Gigantic.
Oh, okay.
I think Grizz might have been this last year. I can't remember, but it was like Clausy, Big Gigantic,
nice.
Some other big San Diego groups up there. I mean,
I think just out here they're very just too uptight when it comes to stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think they're just more about keeping it family based. So even like the old towns, they get pretty rowdy, and they try to even confine that area to its bare minimum by kind of like
surrounding
them with just the police in there.
Yeah, I got pulled over for my exhaust going through. They're like, "What are you doing down here?" I'm like, "I'm just driving through."
Hey, every Sunday they have a bunch of motorcycles running through there heavy with exhaust. So
exactly.
It's
like, I know. I'm like, "Oh, you gotta pull me over? Come on!"
They do it all the time. I've seen it.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
As far as out here, I don't see it as much. Maybe earlier in the time because we were trying to do stuff out here. Temecula and Murrieta, even back then, they were still really strict.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places, like if you can find an old building that maybe was grandfathered into a lot of the laws, then maybe. It just depends. Just because also the crowd out here isn't very EDM based.
They're very country and all the clubs
hip
are all
hop,
country.
All that stuff. I can't really, I've seen people try to bring some stuff up. It just never really like sticks, or it can't be something where it's consistent. There's just not a big enough crowd to pull in here.
Not enough college age kids.
Right.
That's where all the colleges are.
You would need like a big company to make their move in, like an Insomniac or something, or to make something small to gauge the eyes of everybody surrounding. So then maybe down the road it could be. But other than that, if you don't have like a support like that from them, I can't see, and I couldn't even see myself doing a show down here and really selling something out like that.
I was talking to Christian about that because he was asking, he's like, is there anything up there? And because he lives in Oceanside, and I'm like, oh man, like I couldn't even tell you, I couldn't even imagine.
There was back then in Oceanside a couple of venues, but I mean, for the same reasons, we kind of like burnt them out back then.
For sure, yeah.
So now they don't do any stuff there.
Definitely.
For certain reasons.
Awesome. So moving on from there, anything to look out for? Any new music, new shows, new things you want to plug and drop?
Yeah. So I have new music coming out. I have a long-awaited song called Add It Up, and that's with the boys Control Room from Canada.
Okay.
We actually won a contest with that with Bijou, DJ Bijou, back last year, and he played at EDC.
Okay.
And that was pretty cool. So we finally were able to sign that song.
Nice.
It's going to be coming out in April.
Okay.
April 19th, I believe. And then, like I said, I have a song with Ellis coming out.
Okay.
And that one's going to be in March.
Awesome.
I've been trying to at least release a song a month. This month was kind of just, everywhere. So I didn't get the actual time frame for this month. Next month, I do have a house song coming out.
Okay.
And then a couple remixes coming out.
Nice.
I did try to jump on that what is it called? The new Skrillex song that he just came out with. Rumble.
Yeah,
so we have that in the work. Me and another guy, we're finishing it up. Maybe we'll put it out next week.
Sweet.
Lick and Dip, I'll be back with them in February.
Nice.
Next upcoming week, maybe I can bring you actually with me. Next upcoming week, I'll be out in LA, and I'll be working out with my whole schedule. So in 2 weeks, you'll get my whole entire schedule from here all the way till December, because I work with a specific team, the Mayhem Events.
Okay.
And we're going to go down the whole roster from here all the way down to December. So
that's
when I'll put the calendar together.
Sweet.
And I'll start sending those out to a lot of other clubs and promoters, so then they can start giving me their dates that I don't already have filled.
For sure.
So as far as scheduling wise, I only have about 3 shows booked right now. That is Lick and Dip, that'll be in February. I don't know yet if it's going to be the Friday or Saturday. We're still talking on that. And then Hermosa Beach in April, and Catch One in March. So
nice.
That's where I'll be, those three. But hopefully at least I'll be able to hit one a month from here all the way down.
Yeah.
Same thing with the music. You're going to catch content as much as I can every day.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean, you're just going to have to see more of me.
Sweet.
You're going to know who I am, but hopefully by the end of this year, if you don't know me already.
Definitely.
Whether I'm annoying or not, you're going to know who I am.
Hey, as long as people are seeing you, that's what matters. Well, cool, guys. That'll be the episode. Be sure to give Roamy a follow. All the social media, Spotify, you're everywhere.
Everything at Roamy.
Awesome.
Twitter at Roamy Official, and everything else is at Roamy. SoundCloud, Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you want to find me.
Nice.
YouTube, Roamy. You'll find everything that you want from there.
Sounds good. All right, guys. Well, this has been Just Enjoy. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will catch you on the next one. Peace out.
Peace out. Thank you.